Hey, it's Karen here, and so great to be with you today. Today, I want to talk to you about BMI and scales and why they honestly are a waste of your time. Yep, that's right. It's a waste of your time. So for so many of you, you may not know, but today I started the 75 Hard Challenge. If you don't know what that is, it's a list of things that you have to do for 75 days straight. Some of that includes taking a progress picture. I've got my list here. Progress picture, 3.8 liters of water a day, read 10 pages of a book, 2 45-minute workouts. One, it has to be outside. Follow any kind of meal plan. No cheating, no alcohol, no naughty snacks. Pretty sure that is about it. That's all I got on my list anyway. So why I wanted to talk to you today about BMI and scales is because one of the things that shows up on the 75 Hard is something that's really hard for me to do, and that's take the progress picture. I've never been one to take a lot of photos of myself per se, and particularly in a progress shot of wanting better results. And I think maybe that's because, I'm not sure, but maybe because I've never really been on a weight loss journey. And even though my results got better and I was more toned, I never really took a lot of the photos. It wasn't something that was important. Now, when I first started on my health journey, I was made to take a photo. Now, maybe you can relate to this. Most people who start on a health journey will either look at their BMI or scales. But here's the problem. BMI is full of, it's just a lie. And I'll tell you why. Because would you consider a bodybuilder as someone who is obese? Well, on BMI, if they are a bodybuilder and they've got muscles and they are cut and lean, they are probably going to be considered as obese. Ridiculous, right? And so it's the same as if you stand on a scale, it's going to give you one number, which adds up the number of everything in totality. So that's the water in your body, that's your muscle mass, that's your fat, that's literally like everything that's in your body comes to one number. And so it becomes like false information. And why on the 75 Hard Challenge, and why I want to talk about this today is because the thing I think that would trip me up is the progress picture. Now, if you started a health journey, and I know when I did, we're told to take a picture. And the thing about that is that if you don't take the picture, most of us don't like to, most of us take the photo like this. We're unhappy. We're unhappy with ourselves. We're unhappy with how we feel. Maybe we're unhappy with our confidence. Maybe we're unhappy with our self-worthiness. Maybe we're unhappy with really what we're looking at because the picture reflects back what's really there. So most of us don't like to take the picture. And I know when I took my pictures this morning, I had that feeling of disgust, actually. Disgust. Now, that's ridiculous. It is ridiculous because we are who we are and there's nothing wrong with my body, right? Nothing wrong with my body. I don't know. Maybe you feel exactly the same. Maybe you have that same disgust when you see a photo of yourself, or maybe you don't like photos being taken of you at all. So in this progress picture, I just had my sports bra on and my leggings, but I just didn't like what I saw. And then I remembered I took a photo some time ago when I was a lot leaner, and I was still disgusted. And so what it really showed me is the fact that I'm not in love with who I am as a person, my own self-worth and my own confidence. And it's actually why I started 75 Hard Challenge, to try and get more confidence in me, to start showing up differently so that if I can love myself a little bit more, then I can share more love, because you can only share with what you've got. And it has to start with you, right? So this is why I'm doing the 75 Hard Challenge. And it's why I hate the BMI and scales, because I know this happens to my clients. They're going to stand on those scales today. And whether that's today, tomorrow, whenever, they stand on those scales, and this is what happens. I've done everything right for the week. I've exercised, I've had the water, I've eaten a clean diet, and nothing has changed on the scales. Guess what? Now they want to throw the baby out with the bathwater because they made some changes and they don't see a result today. Now, is that not crazy? Is your life and what's going on inside healthier? 100%. But what happens is, because we don't have the instant gratification and we don't see that number on the scale, like literally, like throw the blinking things away, really. But like, if you don't have, if you see that number on the scale and you've done everything right, it literally is like a mental blocker. It's like everything's against me. I'm doing everything right and nothing is working. Well, guess what? We are only making that decision based upon the number that we see. What if your muscle mass grew? You know, like, I mean, 1 kilo of muscle weighs the same as 1 kilo of fat, right? Like, it doesn't change, but the mass of muscle to fat is huge. So there's two things that you can do that will make a massive difference for you. Number one, tape measure. Take your measurements. And like, so many people use their clothes as how you feel. What a great idea. Great idea. The tape measure will give you actual numbers. So you can see, yes, it's not just because I've worn these clothes and they haven't come out of the wash, because we know sometimes when we wash things, they're hard to get on. Now we feel terrible. But if you have got the measurements, it makes a difference in your body. 6 centimeters in one area is a clothing size. Did you know that? It's a clothing size. That's a difference in clothing size. So lose 6 centimeters off your waist, different clothing size there. Now, don't you feel great when that happens? And just remember that scale, that number on the scale, you don't walk into a shop and say, I'm 70 kilos, I'm 100 kilos, what size will I wear? Doesn't happen. It's on the measurements. So take your measurements. The second thing that is key, and this is something I realized this morning, and I had to give myself a checkup from the neck up, was take the darn photos. You may not like them, but you'll like them because it will show you some progress, and it will show you that all the workouts you've been doing, all the clean eating you've been doing, it is showing up. It's just in other areas, and you won't feel it. You won't notice it until you look back. See, when we have somewhere we can look back from, we can connect the dots, but you can't connect the dots looking forward, right? Only going backwards. So it's so key that you do those two things. Tape measure and photos, ditch the BMI chart, ditch the scales, and focus on those two things. And I guarantee you will fall in love with your journey a whole lot more. And I know for me, I've got to do a progress picture every day. This 75 days is going to have me loving taking pictures of myself. And that is going to be a growth moment for me. And I'm looking forward to it, not because of ego, not because of anything else, because I'm going to be able to see those results that I don't currently see, and the ones that I'm looking for, and the ones I'm going to achieve. So I hope this has been of value to you, but I just want you to know that if you are on a health journey, you absolutely, it's worth it. It is absolutely worth it. The weight didn't come on. The unhealthy habits didn't just happen overnight. It's all over time. We have to be patient with ourselves. Now, if you are someone who is looking for a supportive community, reach out to me. I'd be happy to add you to our support group. Look, there's so many great things in there, so much celebration, so much motivation. We want to celebrate you on your journey and whatever that may look like. And so if you're looking for that group, reach out. Be happy to share that with you. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you. I'll see you tomorrow.